The Middle East, one of the most volatile and complex regions on Earth. Today, it's home to 3 active wars, 4 failing states, and countless militias and terror groups spilling violence across borders. This chaos isn't new. For over a century, the region has been plagued by revolutions, foreign interventions, and civil wars. But if there's one constant in all of this turmoil, 2 countries are almost always involved: Saudi Arabia and Iran. They're bitter rivals. Their feud is the key to understanding the modern Middle East. But here's the twist. They've never declared war on each other. Instead, they fight in the shadows, funding militias, supporting governments, and fueling civil wars across the region. This strategy is known as proxy warfare, and it has devastated the region. When powerful countries pull the strings inside weaker ones, those countries crumble. To Saudi Arabia and Iran, these conflicts are both threats and opportunities. They are fighting not for territory, but for influence. This is why the rivalry is often called a Cold War, a battle for regional dominance, fought indirectly, like the one between the United States and the Soviet Union. Much like that Cold War, Saudi Arabia and Iran support opposing sides rebels. Dictators, militias, each trying to outmaneuver the other. But unlike the global reach of the US and USSR, this Cold War is focused entirely on the Middle East. To understand how this all began, we need to go back. In the early 1900s, the Arabian Peninsula was a patchwork of tribal lands under Ottoman control. When the empire collapsed after World War I, those tribes turned on each other. Eventually, one tribe, the Al-Saud, rose to power. In 1932, they established the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. 6 years later, the discovery of massive oil reserves transformed it overnight. Oil built the kingdom's cities. It fueled its alliance with the Westies, especially the United States. Across the Persian Gulf, Iran had a similar resource-based oil and a large Muslim population. But its history was far more chaotic. Repeated invasions by Russia and Britain destabilized the country for decades. Then in 1953, the CIA orchestrated a coup, moving Iran's popular Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. In his place, they backed Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a westernized monarch who ruled with authoritarian control. By the 1970s, both Iran and Saudi Arabia were oil-rich and aligned with the US. But their internal dynamics were very different. The Shah modernized Iran, but he ruled with fear. Corruption and repression eroded his support. Then, in 1979, Iran exploded in revolution. Led by Ayatollah Khomeini, a cleric opposed to monarchy and Western influence, Iran overthrew the Shah and became an Islamic republic. It was a turning point not just for Iran, but for the entire region. For Saudi Arabia, the revolution was terrifying. Here was a popular religious uprising that toppled a powerful monarch, a nightmare scenario for the Saudi royals. But there was more at stake than politics. Saudi Arabia had long positioned itself as the leader of the Islamic world, home to Mecca and Medina, Islam's 2 holiest sites. But now, Iran claimed legitimacy through revolution, claiming that its theocracy better represented Islamic values. There was also a religious divide. Saudi Arabia is majority Sunni, Iran is majority Shia. While the Sunni-Shia divide had historically been peaceful in many regions, the revolution gave it new political weight. Soon after the revolution, Iran began exporting its message, supporting Shia groups in countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, and even Saudi Arabia. This triggered a sharp Saudi response. They deepened their alliance with the US and helped form the Gulf Cooperation Council, a bloc of Sunni monarchies. Then came war. In 1980, Iraq, under dictator Saddam Hussein, invaded Iran, hoping to stop the revolution, seize oil-rich land, and rise as a regional power. When Iran started to push back and gain ground, Saudi Arabia panicked. They funneled money, weapons, and support to Iraq, desperate to keep Iran contained. The war dragged on for 8 brutal years, killing nearly 1 million people. It ended in a bloody stalemate, and Iran never forgot Saudi Arabia's role in funding their enemy. 15 years later, the battlefield shifted back to Iraq. In 2003, the US invaded Iraq and toppled Saddam Hussein. But instead of peace, chaos followed. With no stable government in place, armed militias sprang up, Sunni and Shia alike. It was the perfect opening for Iran and Saudi Arabia. they each found new proxies among the militias, fighting a shadow war for influence inside a collapsing state. And that's been the pattern ever since. In 2011, the Arab Spring brought a wave of revolutions to the Middle East. For Iran, this was opportunity. For Saudi Arabia, this was danger. Iran saw a chance to reshape the region. Saudi Arabia feared rebellion would spread to its own kingdom. So, both countries acted. In Bahrain, Iran backed Shia protesters. Saudi Arabia sent troops to crush them. In Yemen, Iran supports the Houthi rebels. Saudi Arabia leads a military coalition to stop them. In Syria, Iran backs dictator Bashar al-Assad, fighting rebel groups supported by Saudi Arabia. From Libya to Lebanon, Tunisia to Morocco, the entire region became a chessboard. This Cold War is no longer fought only through proxies. Now, Saudi and Iranian troops are on the ground, fighting wars directly. And as civil wars rage and power vacuums open, both nations see vital interests at stake. They blame each other for every loss, every uprising, every failure. Their rivalry is no longer just political. It's deeply entrenched in every corner of the Middle East. Even smaller countries like Qatar are caught in the crossfire, threatened by Saudi Arabia for building ties with Iran. Meanwhile, as groups like ISIS fade, Saudi Arabia and Iran race to claim their fallen territory. What started as a Cold War is now a dangerous spiral. Unpredictable, explosive, and far from over.